and welcome you all to episode number 34 of Intimacy Laws. This is going to be a very fascinating episode for all my female viewers and students. In this episode, we are going to talk about one of the most critical condition of the females, which is called borderline personality disorder. According to studies, about 32% to 34% of all the female population suffers from borderline personality disorder. Most of these studies have been done in the urban population. In my practice, working with hundreds and thousands of females and helping them managing their borderline personality disorder and other health conditions, I have found out that nearly 70 to 80% of the females suffer from certain degree of borderline personality disorder, and nearly 100% of the females of the modern day suffer from mood dysregulation, whether she is an urban female, whether she is a rural female, whether she belongs to India or she is a Western female, or she belongs to East European countries. Irrespective of the fact where a female belongs to, borderline personality disorder seems to have become an integral part of the femininity. The problem is that in the modern day, we do not want to solve a problem. We want to keep a problem alive and rationalize that problem. For instance, we talk debate is healthy for the democracy. No, it is not healthy for democracy. Debate is neither healthy for democracy, not healthy for your health, and not even healthy for any relationships. If one person takes control of his life, if he invests 20 30 years of his life into learning, knowledge acquisition, he suffers in the process, he takes on a lot of life challenges, then there is essentially no scope of debate, because whatever he has learned, his experiences, he had to read a lot of science, and after that when he presents those, then there is no debate, because that science, that's a lot of wisdom, that's a lot of virtue that is coming from him. And the ones who has gone up to his level will never debate with that individual. However, those who have not done anything in their life, who are lazy brains, who are shortcutists, they want to feel good about themselves. They don't want to work hard. They want to feel good about themselves. And that's the reason they rationalize, saying things like debate is healthy for the democracy. They rationalize that everybody is free to have their own opinions and views. No, opinions and views are functions of lazy brains, function of shortcut brains, a brain which has not dig down into the science, a brain which has not suffered enough, a brain which has not taken enough amount of challenges in the social life, a brain which doesn't have a social presence, a brain which has always tried to find out the shortcuts. Those brains, they make opinions, my way or the highway. Other brains who are really solving a problem, people who really are contributing it to the society, and not lazy brains. They don't have opinion. They keep their brain very fluid, and that's how they grow. In the same way, we have rationalized the mood dysregulation of the females. Now, the reason that we have rationalized it is because it takes a lot of effort by the females to handle this, and it takes a lot of effort by a man to help them manage their mood dysregulation. So we have marked this as a psychological disorder, and then we have left them on the mercy of the psychologist. And everybody knows that a psychological disorder is very hard to get over. It's nearly impossible to get over. The reason that we do that is because more or less the females, all of you, have started becoming privileged princes. Do you think that entire world owes you You think you are so privileged that everybody should give you validation, that everybody should appreciate you. You're very hard skin, thick skin to criticism. You're very thick skin. You've never taken accountability. When was the last time that you accepted that, okay, I did this resulted in a bad outcome and I take the responsibilities? No responsibilities whatsoever. So this is almost like debate is healthy for the democracy. If I cannot invest 30 years of my life into science, technology and learning, I'm just simply going to get an opinion. I'm going to just read some blogs, 5 points to improve your healthcare, and then I'll read some WhatsApp messages, and then I'm going to become an expert and give my expert opinion. Unfortunately, the life doesn't work in that way. So in this video, I'm going to scold you a lot. I'm talking to you, all my female students and all my female viewers. In this video, I'm going to be very harsh on you. I'm going to criticize you. So you're very free to just leave the video at this point of time, because you do not want to watch for next 1 hour and get really vulnerable. You don't want to do that. So if you are a reductionist brain, if you are looking for a shortcut, if you just want to complain in your life, and if you want to rationalize that mood dysregulation is part of femininity, then you can leave this class right away. For all the other female friends of mine, female students, who really thinks that they need to now take care of their emotions, they need to take care of their mood, and they need to take care of this horrible condition called borderline personality disorder, you can stay on. So I've set the context. You have to understand that there is no shortcut in life. So you have to understand that anybody who presents something in a single word, a single sentence, like cliches, debate is healthy for democracy, everybody is free to have their opinion. These are all the fundamentals of the shortcut brain. And if you want to live by those shortcut brains, you are going to continue to suffer the way that you are suffering. If you do not want to suffer, just watch the rest of the videos. Alright. So, what is a personality? We, as a child, learn that entire world is not same. That the way we can talk to our parents is not the way we can talk to our grandparents, and vice versa. The way we can behave with our mother may not behave with the father. When we go out to schools, there is a different set of behaviors that we need to adopt. The thing is that our brain cannot simply remember how to behave in which situation. It needs a context. Our brain needs a context in every respect. Our brain doesn't understand why we have to sit silent for 1 hour in the school. Your brain doesn't understand the concept why you are even watching this video. And let me set that context. You are lonely. You're feeling extremely alone. You feel lost in your life. You have been trying very hard to pretend that everything is fine, but internally you are broken. Coming back. So we realize that we cannot be same with everyone. In the school we have to sit for 1 hour. As you are sitting here now. For 1 hour you cannot go out of the class. While coming back home, we cannot sit for 1 hour in front of our parents. While going to the playground, we become competitive. When we go out and talk to our friends or get out with our friends, we become much more friendly. We laugh, we smile, we dance. So, from very childhood, we understand one principal thing, that there are classes in the societies and we have to fit into each class with a different set of behavior. We are different, we need a different set of behavior while talking to our fathers or communicating with our fathers. We need a different set of behaviors. While communicating with our mothers, we need a different set of behaviors. While communicating with our siblings or interacting with our siblings, we need a different behavior. When we are interacting with our batchmates in the school, we need a different behavior. When we are interacting with the class teacher, we need a different behavior. When we are interacting, or you want to go to principal's chamber in the school, you need a different behavior. If you are taking the private tuition and you are under the private tutor, so different social situations, different behavior. If you want to go to, if you are going to a shop to purchase something, then a different set of behavior. If you are going to a worship place, something like a church or a temple, you need a different set of behavior. So, in the school, you have to come in time. Number two, you have to wear a uniform. Number three, you have to stand in the queue during the assembly. Number four, you have to go into the classroom, take your seat. Number five, the teacher comes. Number six, you have to stand up. Number seven, teacher asks you to sit. You sit down. Number eight, teacher starts a class. You pay attention, take out your notebook or diary. Teacher teaches for next 15 minutes, 1 hour, and you pay attention. Then the class ends. Then you release your attention. Then you focus on the attendance marker the teacher takes, and so on and so forth. So there is a set of rules associated, set of rules, set of behaviors associated with each and every social condition. You go to a marriage and nobody is going to come, and you don't have to stand up, and you don't have to really greet anyone by standing up. You don't have to pay 1 hour of attention for somebody to end. That's how the behavior in the marriage is. So every social situations has different behaviors, and it is very difficult to remember thousands of such behaviors associated with thousands of different social situations. You are not same with your brother, elder brother, and you are not same with your younger brother. You are not same with your elder sister. You are not same with your younger sister. You are not same with your mother. So, because our brain has to remember significant amount of rules in a society as what we should do under which condition, our brain creates kind of which we call an actor. So our brain creates an actor, and rather than we interacting with the social condition, because you cannot change all the time, right? You go to a shop, you cannot change. You come back home, you cannot change. So internally, it's very difficult for the brain to rewire the neurons all the time. So brain creates a mask, a surface neuron, where the brain contextualizes the social situation. And this mask, this upper layer, different actors which brain creates to interact with different situations, this helps the brain to organize the data. For example, imagine that all your books were in the same place. Now imagine that all you did not have different books, math, science, physics, chemistry, history, everything was there in the same book, and there was no chapter name, there was no title, and you had to remember, you have to understand. It would have been so difficult, it would have been impossible for you, right? Let's imagine that I did not have any title in this video and I did not tell you that I'm going to cover borderline personality disorder. Then you'd not be knowing what am I going to talk about. And I talk about debates, I talk about democracy, I talk about lazy brain, and you'd get confused. So brain always needs a context. Even though we were supposed to talk about borderline personality disorder, I started with lazy brain so that you understand that this is going to be a long class, this is going to be a very hard class, this is going to be very challenging to your feelings. and that whatever people says is not right because they have not worked in the public life for 20 to 30 years to be eligible to talk on the subjects. Coming back, so our brain knows our just like the fact that if all the informations were there in the same book, and just like the fact that if I had to talk random things in these videos, your brain couldn't have make any senses. The same way, different social situations, if they are cluttered in the brain cannot make them any senses. Therefore, brain needs a context. So brain creates a persona. It's called a persona, an actor. So rather than disturbing the core neuron, brain creates a persona, a surface neuron. Right? The deeper we go in the neural network, that's the core. That's the core. Absolute deep. Those are the core. Those are the things that do not change. At the surface, which is called the lateral cortex, brain creates those personal. They're like actors. So you're not real, but you are acting. In the school, you are acting. In reality, you cannot sit at a place for 1 hour. You just cannot do that. But in the school, you are doing that. For this class, you are doing that. Because the reason that I have been using the word class is because it is telling your brain that this is like a classroom. This is not just any video. So you cannot get out of the class and you cannot lose your attention. You have to pay attention. You see, I'm giving a context to your brain. And because I'm giving a context to your brain is not letting you leave this classroom. If I told you that in this video this is just an information video, we are going to discuss about borderline personality disorder, then you would have led so far because I'm not giving a context to your brain. But whenever I'm saying class and I'm saying that I'm going to teach you, your brain has a context of the classroom. So you are being attentive. What is personality? Personality is the context plus behavior that a brain creates for a social situation. Let me repeat. A personality is a context plus set of rules and behaviors that a brain creates to interact with a social situation. So when you were in the college, you're very energetic. You had a lot of guy friends. You used to go out. You used to hang out with them. They used to call you cool. In there, you had a different persona. Could you repeat the same thing now? And I'm guessing that if you are watching borderline personality disorder, you are over 30. Because before 30, people would be using your mood swing. They would never tell you to stop, and you'd not have the energy to stop. I'm assuming that you are over the age of 30. That's as per the data point. If you have still managed to see this video up to this point, at this age, don't you close your eyes and think about your college days? Don't you miss your college days? Don't you feel like going back to your college days? Don't you feel that those days were good and you want to have those days come back? That's a personality. You being a college student was a persona. Alright. When you were young, when you were a child, you interacted with your father in certain ways. As you had your puberty, there was a difference in the way you interacted with your father. And all your teenage, you felt rejected by your father, didn't you? Your teenage was a personality. Brain created a persona of a teenage girl, and that persona, teenage girl, couldn't simply go kiss her father, embrace her father, get on the lap of the father. You as a 5-year-old girl is a persona. You could you could just go and crazily jump into your father's lap. Your father will lift you up. Your father will take you out. Your father will be like your friend. As you entered teenage, you saw that difference. So small girl, one persona that has a context. What is that context? You are a small girl. He's your father. In your behavior, you can be girlish, you can be childish. Teenage, another context. He's same father, but now brain loads the behavior and rules of a teenage girl with the father. Your mother is very careful not to let you very close to your father because she knows that your father can get sexually attracted by you. That's normal. That's normal. And therefore your father maintained a distance, you maintained a distance, which probably hurt you during your puberty. Another person, when you went to college, you started living for the first time, you felt like you were living for the first time. You had a lot of friends, you had a lot of fun, people valued you, you had a lot of you rode in the bikes, guys were all around you, and you had a different persona. That's a college girl persona, outgoing college girl persona. As you came out of the college, you realized that the friends who promised you to be with you for their entire life are no more there in your life. The guys are extremely busy in their career and they're chasing your career. Perhaps you might have also chased your career. So when you came out of the college, that persona got over. Then you again started as a career girl. When you started as a career girl, your entire focus was to get a good job, to get good salary. You thought there was a context because you were told that the girls are like boys and you have to do the same thing that the boys do. So you created a persona which is more boy-like, which is more guy-like, more ruthless, more hardworking, and your brain and body worked accordingly. These are different personas. And now there is a problem. If you have if you have attended the course or the class of feelings, and I highly suggest you from this playlist, open that video of feeling and just see the video of feeling. Try to learn your feelings. And I also suggest you that you open the video of femininity, where I have taught about female sexuality and what femininity really is. Femininity is not really a female body with a vagina. That's not. It's a psychosexuality. There is a lot of psychology involved in your self-view as a female. Alright, coming back. So, now, because a girl is much more social than the guys, we have a social hormone called oxytocin. The oxytocin level of a girl is far more higher than the oxytocin level in the guys. The exact same way, guys have much high cortisol level than the girls. There is a balance, it's not equal, there is an equilibrium. Okay, whomsoever has told you that guys and girls are the equal have fooled you. They are the lazy brains, they don't know science, they're the lazy brain, they don't have any intellect, they haven't ever served the society. So no, there is a balance, they're not equal, right? Coming back now, because females have more oxytocin and men have more cortisol, men can take a lot of pressure. So men generally takes all the pressure of working hard. Earning money is really hard. It's really hard. Earning money is hard. Okay? And men take that responsibility because pathologically they are more tuned to take that responsibility because they have more cortisol. I'm not talking about modern day guys. Their mothers have embraced them, their mothers have kept them really close to their chest, and the guys haven't been able to produce or synthesis more cortisol. But in general, men have more cortisol, so they can take more load. So men go to work. because they can take load, because working money is very hard. If you have been a career girl, 16 hours a day you have spent on your career and you've been exhausted. Okay, now coming back, females have a lot of oxytocin hormone. Now oxytocin hormone is a social hormone. It it lets us, or it pushes us to get more socially connected. So females are obviously more socially connected. A female has got more social interaction, at least up to the age of 30. After that, there is the loneliness, of course, because after the age of 30, your oxytocin level really falls, because your body wants you to focus on the motherhood. So up to the age of 30, a female is an extremely smart, socially smart animal. There is no such thing as social anxiety for most of the females. They're socially extremely smart. So a female at any given instance of time would be doing a lot of social interaction. In the college, you might have had a boyfriend. You might have had more boyfriends. You might have had few friends whom you call your best friend. You might have had a friend whom you just call a good friend. You might have had a friend whom you call party buddy. You might have had a friend whom you call drinking buddy. You might have had friends whom you call movie buddies. So you might have made a lot of classifications in terms of all your relationships, all your social relationships. So with your boyfriend, your brain and body acted differently. With your guy friend, your brain and body acted differently. With your best friend, your brain and body acted differently. For example, in terms of your boyfriend, you were more feminine. You wanted to touch him. You sat on his back and you felt shy. When it came to your best friend, you felt more equal, you felt more protective, you felt like you were making his life easier. In terms of those friends who would take your bags or who would do anything that you ask them to do and fantasize about you in their bedroom, about them you feel that they're cheap guys, the losers, and you treat losers in a different way. So just in the friendship, you created multiple personas, and every girl does that. Here is a problem. After the age of 30, oxytocin level falls. After that, you do not have enough level to manage each of these personas differently. Right? And after the age of 30, female estrogen also starts falling. Now, earlier, it would not start falling before the age of 50, but nowadays it starts falling after the age of 30, and many females, a lot of them, have their ovaries removed even before the age of 35. Because once you become a career girl, you have less cortisol. Okay? You can be a reductionist brain, you can be a lazy brain, and you can get manipulated easily by lazy brain. But there is a consequence, and that consequence is irreversible. Coming back now, so you had created different personas. Now when you were a teenager, there were few other good girls, good looking girls who would get attention. You'd feel a lot of jealous for them. Now you'd create a, if you don't consider yourself to be really top looking, then you might have told yourself a story that okay, these girls are such a loser, what they have other than beauty, and then you focused on your studies. If you were really the attention attraction center of the guys in your teenage year, 13, 14, 15, 16, you might have looked at those studious girls with specs as losers. What they are going to do by studying? Because they are anyways not. They don't anyways look good, and they don't anyways deserve good guys. But I'm good looking. I'm going to get a good man. That's how you feel. So there are different ways that you made yourself socially perfect. you compensated your jealousy by telling yourself this story, depending upon how you perceive the world, right? And and up to the age 30, this works because your brain is able to manage different social personas. The reason female brain does that is your brain wants you to figure out a good man, so that when your oxytocin level falls, you just are capable of, the man just takes over, he becomes the authority, and you give your brain to him, and he just helps you to live life. There is not much thought in the brain, no personality is required. The problem is, the problem is, if you are extremely extrovert, if you were an extrovert, you are no more an extrovert. You consider yourself to be rather introvert at this moment, don't you? You are limited to your home. You don't want to go out and interact. You don't feel good about that. But earlier, you were an extrovert. You considered yourself to be an extrovert. See, that was a persona. Now you consider yourself to be an introvert. This is a persona. Now you consider the entire world cheated you. This is a persona. This is a different context that your brain has created in order to manage your behaviors. Now, what is a borderline personality disorder? So all of us, we have multiple personalities. I'm a teacher, I'm a father, I work with a lot of females, I work with a lot of patients. I'm a scientist, I have to do a lot of scientific research, very hardcore research. I'm a technologist, I build a lot of technology. I take care of a company, so I am an entrepreneur also. I do a lot of work in terms of entrepreneur. I'm a mentor who mentors a lot of juniors. So I too perform. Everybody performs different role in the societies. So while I'm teaching to you at this moment, I have taught over 28,000 students in the physical classroom, but today that is no more possible for me given my set of responsibilities. So I'm teaching to you through these videos, and I have a different role. I'm considering that all of you are sitting in front of me. That is the context I've given to my brain, and I'm behaving exactly the way I behaved as a teacher in the classroom. I never had to say, listen to me, pay attention, because my students always paid attention. I never had to speak these words when I was a teacher. I was a passionate teacher. I'm still am, but I was a passionate teacher. So what I do is I consider, I'm watching this, and inside my brain, all of you are sitting in front of me, and I'm teaching you about borderline personality disorder. I'm just looking at all of your eyes. That's how brain functions. So I have a different persona at this moment. When I work one to one with females to help them manage their borderline personality, then I cannot be a teacher. I have to be much more empathetic. I have to be much more considerate. I have to be much more tolerant in terms of their mood swings. I have to consume a lot. It's a different persona. I'm just giving you an example. When I'm doing the scientific experiment, I'm not a teacher. At that time, I'm just like a child, because without the childishness you cannot do science. So I have to become a child, and I have to do a lot of scientific experiments. So the scientist is a persona. In general, what happens is a healthy brain is capable of detecting the context at which time we have to behave. What I come to these videos and I become a teacher, my brain knows that, okay, all the 20 years that I have taught, whatever I have done, my brain knows what is the physiology or what is the internal energy management it has to do. Yes, I'm not standing and teaching in the classroom, I'm sitting. So perhaps that's a adjustment it is making, and I don't have a chalk and blackboard here, but still I'm teaching the same way. So more or less I'm feeling exactly the same way I used to feel 20 years back. So brain generally knows the context. As I'm saying that I'm a teacher, I have a completely different facial expression. I have a completely different words. I have a completely different energy. I am slow. I'm teaching you. Then after this class, I'm going to attend few of the calls of some of the patients. At that time, I have to become very empathetic. I feel very light. I'll give them empathy. I'll help them to get over their miseries. I consume a lot of their pain, and then after that, I become again an entrepreneur. A lot of meetings, a lot of people, a lot of business deals, a lot of things will happen between 10 a.m. to, let's say, 1 p.m. And at that time, I'm just not a teacher. At that time, I'm an entrepreneur who has to ensure that a lot of things is ready. So my brain knows those contexts. There is no overlapping. So we all have multiple personalities because that's how we interact with the society. Can I be same with you that I'm same with a patient, or can I be same with you and that I'm in the scientific lab? I cannot. When I write, I'm a different person. So my brain knows how to contextualize, how to detect that situation. So brain detects that situation and contextualizes those situations. Now, so first thing, all of us have multiple personalities in the brain, in the lateral cortex. Personalities are like actors which brain creates with a set of rules and behaviors to interact with the society. Okay? So what is multiple personality disorder? Then everybody has multiple personalities. No. When brain fails to keep this personality separate, when they overlap, I can define who am I as a teacher, I can define who am I as a scientist, I can define who am I as an entrepreneur, I can define who am I as a father, I can define who am I when I'm a mentor, I can define who am I when I'm building technologies, I can define who am I when I'm doing scientific research, I can define all those situations. I know when I become what. There is no ambiguity. However, if the personas starts overlapping, for example, if I come to this class to teach you and think, this is that thought about borderline personality disorder, there's something that I'm forgetting. That's what I do in the science lab. And then suddenly, who I was taking the class. Okay, listen, borderline personality disorder. But I was talking about mood dysregulation. What I talk mood dysregulation. We have that borderline personality disorder, when is a condition where all your personas starts getting overlapping. Brain cannot separate them because if I'm doing a scientific research, for example. Let's say that I'm thinking about a psychological paper, a psychology paper, and in the paper they have given certain scales. But when you have borderline personality disorders, your brain doesn't know when it is switching. Then I'm in a business meeting. Yeah, you have to be silent in most of those meetings so that we can evaluate and then take a decision at the end of the meeting. Oh, you are not coming for the meeting. Oh, I was teaching you borderline. So look, borderline personality disorder is something where the personalities they overlap. You don't have to feel bad as a patient. You don't have to feel bad. There is a good feeling in all pain. Pain keeps us closer to our body. But borderline personality disorder is something where brain cannot distinguish between these actors. They overlap. Now, in last few minutes, you saw me as a teacher, when I'm teaching to you, as an entrepreneur, when I'm paying attention to listen to you, the way that I behave in the science lab, or the way that I give emotions to our patients, you saw all of them, but you could distinguish that okay, when I'm teacher, I'm more stable, steady. It's more or less like a posture that I used to take in the classroom. As an entrepreneur, I'm little bent forward. I'm immobile. I'm listening to people very correct, very focusedly. I'm paying attention to what they're saying because I have to take certain decisions at the end of the meeting. As a teacher, I'm like this. As an entrepreneur, this is my posture. As a healer, when I'm working with our patients, my shoulders are much more down. So I don't want them to feel threatened, dominated. I want them to feel that I am with them. See my hands, they get loose, but in the classroom, my hands do not stay in this fashion. In the classroom, it's like this. A borderline personality disorder is a condition where the personalities that the brain creates, the active brain creates, switches from they overlap. So brain cannot make sure that what is are you able to see in the class? If I don't keep my hands like this, my brain is just forgetting what was it, what am I doing, am I taking class, what am I doing? A borderline personality disorder is one where all of us we have multiple personas. The multiple personas are kept separated from each other by the brain, just like I'm playing the role of a teacher. My brain knows it's putting me into a classroom at this moment, even though I'm in front of the camera. It's putting me in a classroom and I'm watching all of you. As a teacher, I'm a strict teacher, and that's how my brain is preparing. But if I forget that I'm in the classroom and my brain cannot have that focus, and if I say the borderline personality disorder is something whereby our brain overlaps between the personas. See, as a teacher, healer, there is a lot of ambiguity. Brain is not able to distinguish which is a teacher and borderline personality disorder. Borderline personality disorder is something where brain loses. See my hand, observe my hand, and I'm not acting. This is not acting. I'm just trying to lose my hand as a healer, and I'm trying to talk to you as a teacher. Borderline personality disorder is something. Are you able to see that it's very hard to act because there is a overlapping? The healer and the teacher are overlapping. So when I'm a healer, I cannot say, you do not. See, it's so difficult. I cannot be empathetic because now my posture, my movement is like a teacher, and I cannot pretend to be a healer, or I cannot consume people's pain. When I'm a healer, I have to consume a lot of their pain. I have to embrace them. I have to hug them. I have to put my hands on their head. I have to give them comfort. That's a different life, and I cannot say, "Come, you'd be fine. Don't worry." We can't do that. Brain has to contextualize the situation. It has to detect which situation we are in. Then brain has to load the appropriate persona of that situation, and then brain knows how am I going to behave. It's not that I'm acting at this moment. My brain has a very well defined persona of a teacher because I have done the teaching for 20 years. So my brain knows what is my level of attention because I've been a very passionate teacher. I love teaching. So my brain, because of this 28,000 students, almost countless number of hours I've stood in the classroom and I've taught, my brain knows exactly how it feels, how exactly what it needs to take a 1 hour of class. And I've never used any notes, I have never used any PPTs. I have loaded the class and I've interacted with the students in this fashion. So my brain knows how much of memory it has to use. My brain knows that Yes, it is going to be a very exhaustive 1 hour, and after 1 hour I generally get tired, and after this class I have to take a complete rest because my body collapses, because it's very high intensity 1 hour that I have to give, because I have to remember each and everything. I'm not watching anything. I have to remember each and everything that I'm going to deliver into the class. And it's a very, very high focus, high attention, high energy, high emotion, because you're getting the emotion. That's the reason you are still sitting there. You're getting the emotion. That emotion is coming from a preparation. All right. So, because I have done this for so many years, my brain cannot make a mistake. As who am I as a teacher? My brain knows exactly how it feels. So because it's a different situation, I have been standing, and if you observe my shoulders at this moment, if you observe my chest, it's a standing posture, right? If I stand and write in the board, that's exactly going to be the way that I'm still working. I'm still talking. So my brain knows exactly what is that situation. It has a different energy, it has a different attention level. And my brain knows that after 1 hour, I'm not going to be in the class, and I'll take a rest, and brain can have its rest. However, if I had just done teaching for 2 months, my brain wouldn't have had this complete signature. It wouldn't have known what is meant by teaching, really, what it is like to write and all those things. So my brain would have got confused. My brain would have thought, when I'm working with my patients, and this been last 12 years, I have also worked in the healthcare in third shift. I love patients. I work with them. I work with a lot of cardiac patients in their death time. I do a lot of cardiovascular analysis, and a lot of patients just come and they say, they just want to be with me. And in those times, I'm completely different person. I'm more fatherly. I'm giving them empathy. I'm just giving them love. It's like they're feeling completely childish. They're feeling helpless, and I have to play the role of a father. I cannot preach them. I have to embrace them. I've done this for over 12 years now. So I know what it means to be a father, to just heal the patient, to give him the love, put his face, or just embrace him and let him cry. My brain knows, so I'm going to see at this moment. If you see me, my brain is imagining that I'm with a patient, and it's not acting. It's just imagining those 40,000 patients that I've worked with. My brain is doing that. It's a repeated behavior, repeated context, over and over and over and over and over again for over 10 years. So my brain knows how to teach, and my brain knows how to heal. As a scientist, from a very young age, I have been a scientist, not the data scientist that people says. And you can find my Google scholar profile. You can just scroll through this channel. I've just not started talking in the public domain from day one. This channel is about 10 years old. You can look back and you can see a lot of my teaching videos, prior teaching videos. Not perfect, but you can still find them. A lot of videos on MATLAB, a lot of videos on programming. And I was a maker. So as a maker, I'm just enthusiastic to make new things. So all of these are different personalities. But when your brain has not played that role very distinctively over and 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 over again, it doesn't have a clear context. For example, in college, you had a good friend and you had a boyfriend. You wanted not to lose either of the boys. So you created a different relationship. The problem is, all your life you did not have one boyfriend and one best friend, did you? Did you have one boyfriend and one best friend from the age of 9 up to the age of 29? You did not. You just had them in 4 years of college. They did not have any context in your life. There was a short period. 4 years, 5 years was a short period. The reason you had a good friend and a boyfriend is you liked both the guys. Both the guys created some values in your life, and you did not want to lose any of those guys. So you had a good friend, you had a boyfriend, but they did not have enough context. They had the wrong context. The actual context was you do not want to lose any person because a girl is a social animal. It's very hard for a girl to go out of a relationship. Look, I have told people, I have taught people that during the divorce, a girl is very vicious. She goes aggressively all out, and once that period is over, she suffers for the rest of their life. It's very hard for the man to cope up with the divorce in the initial phase, but the man moves on very quickly within a year. But the female is extremely vicious. At the beginning of the divorce, she is all guns blazing, but she suffers for the rest of her life after this 1 year. That's a basic difference. The reason that it happens is females have wrong context. They have completely wrong context. Female brain is not as sharp as the male brain. Wait. Please go to the. Don't be a crazy, lazy brain. You are in my classroom. Don't be a lazy brain. Don't just bring your opinions. Go to my classroom of femininity and masculinity. There are 2 episodes, 2 hours. Spend and you'll know the science behind this. Don't jump. Don't jump immediately. No. Be a good girl. Be a good student. Sit. Alright? Start taking some criticism. You died, I scolded you. Did you die? Did you die? And I can foresee you. The moment I said female brain is much less functioning than a male brain, you immediately felt a resistance. I can feel that. I've been a teacher. I know how you are feeling. I've taught 28,000 students and I've been a good teacher, so I know your feelings. And I knew immediately you got resistant. How can you? No, stop there. You're in the classroom. You're not supposed to feel. You're supposed to just focus on the class. Alright? That's a borderline personality disorder right there. You were a student. You were focusing on the class. You were listening. You were trying to make sense. And suddenly, you got defensive. No, this cannot be. This cannot be true. How you can see that? 1 second. Switch. Because your brain did not contextualize you as a student. Your brain did not contextualize you for that defense mechanism. The thing that happened to you is the borderline personality disorder. Because your brain doesn't have the context. You have not been a student. I have been a student for rest throughout my life. I learn a lot. I go out, and it's not just the books. I read a lot. I talk to people. I try to learn from them. I try to learn from the janitors. I try to learn from the gardeners. Everybody has something to teach, and I learn. I have been a student. I have been an exceptional student. I've never stood second in my life. So I've been a good student. It's not just that I read books. I observe, I learn, I write a lot of notes, and I learn from the open university called the universe. Right? So I'm a student. I know how am I as a student. So when I'm learning from someone says, your brain, you are such a dumb. Why even you are learning? It doesn't make a difference because I'm a student at this moment. As a teacher, when I said that female brain doesn't work as good as the male brain, you immediately got your opinions and you wanted to get up. If you have managed to attend this class up to this point, the moment that I said female brain doesn't work as good as the male brain, you immediately felt violent because you did not even bother. You did not even bother to understand that you are attending the class of a teacher, and leaving the class in between is not the right thing to do. Irrespective of the fact that this is YouTube, you just cannot leave the class. That's not good. That's borderline personality disorder. Borderline personality disorder as opposed to what people want you to believe is with the mood dysregulation. It's a outcome of malfunctioned contexts in the brain that the female creates. They try to pretend a lot, you try to pretend a lot, but that doesn't help. You have to start accepting. See, today I told you that it's okay to have less functioning brain. Will I claim that I can give birth to a baby? That's my opinion. Should I? Do I have an ovary? Does my stomach function as the same way as yours? Is my stomach as much functioning as yours? Can it hold baby? So if I cannot hold baby, why it is a problem for you to not hold as much knowledge as me? You are going to give birth. I cannot give birth. So you have to take the burden of a baby. I have to take the burden of knowledge. What is there in this? Who has taught you? Who has taught you that you cannot be low on anything? If you are not low on anything, if you cannot accept the fact that you can have a drawback, then your brain will always switch between these personalities. That's borderline personality disorder right there for you. I gave you a live demo. You were a student, you shifted immediately to a defensive. How can? And then I scolded you. You're not feeling really good, but you could not close this out. You could not go out of the class. You sat, didn't you? You sat. You didn't jump to go out. You did not really go out and file a police complaint against me for saying that your brain doesn't work the way that my brain works. Because my stomach doesn't work the way your stomach works. Are you so dumb not to understand this? Go and watch episode number 14, 15, 16, 17 of this channel to understand what is femininity. But really, look, if in your life anybody said you that you are dumb, that your brain doesn't work, you would have been extremely violent and you would have left that place or you would have reacted. But still, you are sitting here. That's how to manage borderline personality disorder, to give context, because you are in my classroom and you are not allowed to leave the class. Once you start this class, none of my students have in my entire teaching profession has left. Yes, there will be some cheapos who might have left this video at the beginning, but the students don't leave. They enter into a class and then they stay in the class. And those who cannot are those lazy brains who say that everybody is entitled to have their opinions. They are the lazy brains because they cannot attend the class. They have never learned. They have never taught. They have always find shortcuts. But you are not the one who has always found shortcuts. Are you the one? No. That's the reason you are still attending the class. The moment your brain reacted to a word that your brain doesn't work. You see, are you feeling as bad? I've been repeating this sentence that your brain doesn't work as good as my brain for last 2 minutes. Are you feeling as bad? No. Your brain slowly now has started getting cooled down. And it is assuming a context that perhaps there is a knowledge out there. Perhaps we must check out. Perhaps we must attend the other classes. So you're not feeling as bad because I've been repeatedly telling that your brain doesn't work as much efficiently as a man's brain works. A female brain doesn't work as efficiently as a man's brain works because a man's stomach doesn't work the way a female stomach works. You take the burden of a baby, we take the burden of knowledge and decisions. Why is that such registered to you? Do we complain that we don't have a breast? where you complain. That's borderline personality disorder. You see, I again told that your brain doesn't work the way a man's brain works. You're feeling not quite good, but not that bad either, because you just know that it is all right. So I'm giving you a context. I'm giving you a parallel that there is no equality, there is equilibrium, there is no equality, there is a fairness. You can carry more load on your womb, we can carry more load on our brain. Now the world looks simple. You see, I'm giving you more context because a female brain is not as deep in the neural network. This is more lateral. A female brain is a more lateral brain. A man's brain is more deeper brain. Because it is not as deep, it takes a long time for the female brain to comprehend few things. So a man needs a lot of patience to teach a female. It's not just you have attended this class and you have accepted that your brain is less functional. Your brain will try to think in every situation. Maybe perhaps you might have stood first in the classroom and your brain might have been telling you, I'm not no inferior to the guys. I stood first in the class. All those bad things will be running in your brain at this moment, isn't it? You are thinking, you see, you are in the classroom and you are thinking about all the situations where you were smarter than a guy. That's borderline personality disorder. Because your brain gets confused that you are in the classroom, you are not supposed to load any other memory, any other instance. But you are seeing this video, but you got completely off focused. You're thinking about other things. So, because the brain goes here and there, it doesn't have enough context. It mixes up between the personalities. So, at this moment, you have a mixed feeling. You do not know what you learned from the class. You do not know how you are feeling. Why? Because in the middle of the class, you got angry. You were paying attention. Then you got bored. Then you started thinking a lot about the past. Then you got scolded, you got alerted. You had 10 different feelings just within this classroom, within this 1 hour. You had all the different memories when I was teaching you about the arguments and debates. There was a lot of other parallel memories that were going on. When I was teaching you about your childhood and father, all those memories of your father was playing on your brain. When I was teaching you, talking about your college days, all those memories were playing in your brain. So you see, a girl's brain works with the parallel memory. Whenever she listens to anything, hears anything, even in the teaching, she tries to correlate with her past memories. And so the same memory, so you as a girl, as a teenage girl, before your father has a memory, has a context, and then the same context when I'm repeating inside the classroom, you might have a completely different feeling for that. So brain after a period of time is incapable of managing all these personalities because you have not lived with these personalities long enough and you have not explained your context. You might have told yourself one line context that it's okay. I have a good boyfriend and I have a best friend. My best friend is my best friend. So who is a best friend? A friend with whom I do not have to think about a sex. A boyfriend is somebody with whom I would be thinking about sex. It's a very simple, linear, binary context. And it is the reason one-liners don't work in the life. The context building inside the female brain takes a long time. Men do not have that patience nowadays. You see, the girls have started disrespecting men because after all they are same as men. So men have stopped giving you the time. All throughout human history, Men have taken care of the context of the female. Now, because you claim to have as good a brain, men have given up. Because man stays away. When you start argument, man gets silent. That silence is not, you may think that, yeah, I've been good, I've made him accept my opinion. No. He just smiles in his brain and leave you on your own. Who is the loser? So, a borderline personality disorder is a condition when brain starts playing a lot of frame even when in a different situation, and there is always the past memory coming now, try to get filtered. There is no scientific context for any of the roles that you play, and there are thousands of roles you have created in your life. Not each role is long enough lived, not each role is long enough defined. Brain doesn't have any context to connect them. That's borderline personality disorder. And in tomorrow's episode, I'm going to teach you how to manage your borderline personality disorder well and how to identify the situations. That's all for today's episode. I am leaving you with a link to a test, self-assessment test that I have clinically validated to test what is your chances of becoming borderline personality disorder, or what is the percentage of BPD, borderline personality disorder, that you have that you did not know. Secondly, you may also join my course on borderline personality disorder. I'm leaving behind a link in the description below. I teach hundreds of emails every year to manage the borderline personality disorder. There is no such thing called healing, recovery. It's a management. You see, just for you to be able to complete this class of 1 hour, I had to scold you. I had to show you my vulnerability. I had to tell you a story. I had to take you to your childhood. That's a lot of work. And I help females, apologists, to manage their borderline personality disorder with me. This is a course that you do, and then there is a personal mentoring that is associated, weekly consultancy that I take, and I help you, and there is a team who handholds you. And of course, you may want to check out that course in lifehas.com. And if you're a man, unlikely you have watched this episode up to this point, because nowadays we have only the guys who are looking for easy way to earn money. But if you are a man who has managed to watch this episode up to this point, you have probably done that because you have a daughter. I would highly recommend you to please read this book, Intimacy Lost for Men, The Birth of the Lugal. And I'm shortly going to start a course for the parents of the teenage children. So you may also want to visit the Lifehouse website and check out various articles of mine on parenting. But I highly recommend you that you get the book Intimacy Lost for Men, The Birth of the Lugal. But I'm pretty sure the very few men are watching this frame. Most have left. Guys, shortcut brain. They're looking for quick things, quick fixes, 5 minutes. They don't want to learn. They just want to feel that they are learning. For them, the world is always going to be punishing and torturing. For all you girls out there, you can also check out with an article that I'm leaving behind on female health. You can read that article in the Lifehouse website, check your borderline personality disorder, and then think about joining this course. Have a great day. See you tomorrow again. This is Rupam, founder and CEO of Aculi Labs Private Limited, creator of Lifers. Take control back of your life. Goodbye. Bye bye.